I began looking at artists like Lucy Reed and Ronit Baranga and became fascinated by the way they use their body parts to alter the viewer's perception. In particular, Lucy Reed explores how the use of materials from everyday life can create an everlasting effect on the ever-changing society. Lucy emphasizes her attraction to the notion of memory and how pleasant and unpleasant memories can be triggered by touch and fragrance. Ronit Baranga's installation, The Trap, was representative of the cat's cradle game. She explained how their existence depends on the tension of the fingers, and if weakened, the structure would collapse. Her piece creates a sense of mystery, but also feels as though there's a body longing to touch and feel the motion. It's almost as though it wants to capture life within it. This inspired me to create dismembered fingers and hands using alginate in order to represent some of my own ideas in an installation piece. I mixed alginate and water together and had myself and volunteers submerge their hands and fingers into the mixture, creating a mould. I then poured plaster into the mould and allowed to set. After 24 hours, I removed the alginate surrounding the plaster and was left with hands and fingers of different shapes and sizes. After further research, I came across a video created by Ron Slavin, which featured some of Ronit Baranga's work. The video showed a model wearing a neck brace with fingers assembled and attached around the brace. After viewing this video a couple of times, I found that the placement of the fingers made it look like something inside was trying to escape, like the hands represented emotions inside of her, but she was restricted. I was then inspired to create a piece emphasizing restriction. I went on to look at fashion designers that have recently featured exaggerating neck pieces in their shows, and that's when I started looking into Alexander McQueen. A piece in particular that inspired me was butterflies. Using a princess pleater, I turned pieces of fabric into exaggerated frills and layered them on top of each other. As you can see from some of my photos, the model looks as though her movement is restricted, and the discomfort is shown through some of the scenes where she over-tilts her head upwards so that she's not lost in the material. After creating my neck piece, I wanted to create a film that showcases it. After looking at Alexander Wang's fashion shows, I decided to try out a similar theme for my film. In majority of his catwalks, he uses simple lighting that only shines on the model, who is then surrounded by darkness. The Fall 2011 runway show was my biggest influence for the video. The way the models were surrounded by darkness meant that my focus could only be on what the subject was wearing. In all my video footage and photography, I ensured that the model was surrounded by pure darkness. I feel darkness really links in with the point of my piece, as it is inescapable. You are going to be surrounded by darkness, some sort of darkness, whether it is literal or metaphorical.